By the Emperor's light, another warp breach! Purge the heretics for the Emperor! Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Rogue Trader. So, last time we finally managed to pick up our Navigator, and now we are heading off to the Astropath station just as quick as we can. Because like I was saying last time, I found out that it shouldn't mess up the timing element, that I should still be able to save this guy on time. So, just in case, I'm gonna save it over this. And then we're gonna go talk to these people, because I'm very interested to see all of the new stuff we got. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to their new captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Bloodspun Web. The cult defends the flagship from... Sorry about that. Got the hiccups. From both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their activities. I am ready to receive them. I will commence preparations at once, Lord Captain. Ooh, are we already getting into the death cult? This is not what I expected. I really wasn't expecting to see the new character until Chapter 2. This might be very cool. Hello? Computer? Please? Oh, God damn! That was some sexy shit. Alright, let's go meet these people. Those on deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement, while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
The masked cultists repeat the words in a mournful whisper. We obey still. Oh, I am very excited.
Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
The woman's slender finger has been fitted with a metal claw. She points it in your direction and gazes at you from behind her bone mask with the cold, grim eyes of an assassin. We disown... Okay. She pulls out a sinister curved blade, and similar weapons suddenly appear in the hands of her motionless companions. Oh, goddamn!
And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion.
Well, if you guys start talking about skulls for the Skull Throne, I will be worried. But so long as it's blood for the Golden Throne, I think we're okay.
We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibella. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
Let's take a look real quick. I'm not usually a blade person. Oh, God. Oh, that is really good. I am giving that to Abelard if he can use it. Lore Imperium test succeeded. You've heard many stories about death cults, such as this one. These devoted, holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, while others see their fearsome rituals as frenzied spectacles touched by madness. Examine the cultists. The cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. Examine the captives. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down the tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision. Traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing.
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
So far doing more to track down Voigtveer than anyone else on my ship. Good job. Interesting. So a death cult watches over my crew. They who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him. Sacred executioners.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the Bloodspun Web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
Your heart is filled with awe as you gaze at the cultist. You recognize this feeling. You have experienced it before. When you walk through the scorching flame and survived, the eyes of your grim guests burn bright with sacrificial fervor. They serve the God Emperor with wholehearted faith and devotion. What exactly does a cult of the Bloodspun Web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others, the virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One.
You mentioned the tenets of the web. What are they?
Our laws and teachings, our philosophy and way of life, Our art of combat and spiritual dogma. The tenets are the Bloodspun Web itself. Humanity owes its existence to the undying Emperor's sacrifice. It is he who protects us from a darkness of terrors. Hence, each of us has a duty to serve him, and a duty to die for him. To act otherwise is to waste the life that has been given to us by the Undying One, to become a thief. We help others understand this. We help them to live and die righteously.
So I'm really hoping that this one's a question and it's not going to lock me out of this, but we'll see.
We do not desire their death. We do not seek them out in the darkness. They come to us, and we usher them from this life if his sacred tarot reveals that the Emperor wishes to accept these martyrs.
Again, it feels like I'm starting to walk on eggshells a little bit, because I want this to be my decision.
We follow his design. We claim those marked by his omens. We submit to his will. How could it be otherwise?
Well, so long as you're using the Emperor's Tarot to divine his will, I think we should be fine. You have my blessing. May your blades bring swift death to the Emperor's enemies.
The Bloodspun Web will not forget your words, Domin. They are the wisdom of the tenets and the benediction of our duty.
The eyes of the cultists burn bright with righteous fervor. It also really helps that it mentioned that I felt this feeling last time I went through the flames, because that was a gift from the Emperor. Tell me about yourself, Cabela. Are you the leader of the Bloodspun Web, or its herald, or its servant?
I am the second spinner of the Bloodspun Web. The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts.
Yeah, you need to keep that bloodthirst in check. It is a razor's edge that you guys walk between loyalty and skulls for the Skull Throne. Nod toward the captives. Why have you brought this rabble to the upper decks?
I am the so you may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One, is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself. Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the Bloodspun Web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
Ooh. This is actually a tough decision. Well, they're heretics. But I really want to see what happens under one. Ooh, this is a lot harder than I thought. But they're asking for someone to undergo the test, so let's go with one. Give weapons to the traitors. It is time for Cabela to prove herself.
A dagger that has not sliced through sinew is nothing more than a toy. Let the final dance begin.
Let's see this. Oh shit. You're giving them guns? God.
Your Emperor won't save you!
Oh, fuck this guy.
Embrace.
Cabela has a remarkable background. As a death cult assassin, she can use special abilities called Raining Blood. When used, it causes the target of Cabela's next melee attack to explode in a burst of blood, covering the floor and any enemies behind the target. The affected enemies suffer additional damage. Can also use special consumable item called the Blood Vial to spill even more blood on the battlefield. Cabela is a blade dancer, has 2 special attacks, Blade Dance and Death from Above. Blade Dance ability allows the Blade Dancer to make several light strikes against random adjacent targets. Oh, so kind of like Argenta's rapid fire thing. And then allows the Blade Dancer to swiftly leap to a selected cell upon landing, deal damage to all targets. Oh god, like an AoE charge. The ability can be used multiple times per turn, but each use requires a charge to be spent. Okay. Alright, well... yeah, I think here should be good. I'll go there just to be safe. But we're going first. Alright, so how many charges do we have? Is that something I can see? Are these the charges?
Trust me.
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump directly into the middle. Nice! Oh my god! And then we hit you. Jesus. Oh, dear God. Where do I see the... Okay. Okay, so the charges are down here. Well. God damn. That was sexy as all hell. Ooh. Even more, huh? Alright, let's go with that one. Let's go with this one. And then let's go with... We'll take you out.
The other side awaits.
That one's a little bit hard to aim. Nice. Nice. Jump over here. And smack you on the face. I could use the other 2 charges, but I want to see what her life is like. Ow. Nice. Alright. Let's do this one. And then this one. And then smack you on the ass. Oh, that is so satisfying. Welcome to the team, Cabela. A cut to the heart, a cut to the throat, a cut to the stomach. These wounds have been inflicted in according to his pleasure. The blood of the apostates will wash away the stain of their treachery, so that their souls may prostrate themselves before the Undying One's throne and beg his forgiveness. Cabela wipes the blood from her blade in one swift movement. I have acted with reverence and shown proof of my loyalty. Will you accept me, Domin Lamedicus? Will you make me your shield and shadow? Damn right. Your lordship, the spinners of the Bloodspun Web are watching, tracking, and killing Von Valencia's enemies long before the warrant of trade passed to Lady Theodora. However, their blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. The factotum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance to Cabela. but I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had good reason. Jocasta Sourback. A stern-looking woman clears her throat. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the Bloodspun Web, for we share a common goal, to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of this ship. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, these spinners took a train driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malik did to earn that privilege, though, and who's going to feed his family now? A man in a soot-covered uniform takes a drag of his low stick, exhaling the thick smoke through his clenched teeth. But that's a lower deck problem. What matters is the Bloodspun Web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. No, what the problem is that your buddy Malik was doing a chaos ritual. Like, the bleeding heart nonsense makes perfect sense in our world, but in this one, with actual chaos? No, you put on your armor of contempt and you stomp that shit out as quick as you can. Confessor Adalbert, a plump old man in the rich robes of a confessor, adds respectfully, my predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinners saved this vessel from the servants of the archenemy. The Bloodspun Web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins, and the beat of its heart. Their great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valencius. Again, I'd like to do a couple of these, so hopefully I don't get locked out. It seems that not all the officers have been presented to me yet. Indeed, your lordship. Jocasta Sourback at your service. I am entrusted with the honor of commanding the enforcers and keeping order aboard this vessel. It is my duty to punish trespassers, suppress disobedience, and repel any and all attacks on the ship. Yeah, no, I kinda got that from our last subjugation session. My apologies for the omission. Yeah, I've already met you too, bro. You shared some of your low with me. My apologies for that omission, Lord Captain. I am Heinrich Montag, head of the Infernus Guild. I am responsible for preventing and extinguishing fires, as well as handling any emergency situations. Confessor Adalbert, your lordship, as a humble servant of the Emperor, I am entrusted with the high honor of being the ship's confessor. In other words, the highest spiritual authority on your vessel. I am here to oversee the purity of the crew's faith. I officiate in the officers' chapel and also look for the ship's reliquary. Adalbert, tell me about the spinner's great sacrifice. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted. The famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders, but then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tip dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the Bloodspun Web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. I wish to hear what my retinue thinks. I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer to him. I have seen how their deeds fill the people's heart with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The Bloodspun Web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in The fight against the arch enemy. Okay. That is a glowing accommodation from a sister of battle. That is crazy. Although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the Bloodspun Web and approved of its mission. Even Abelard approves. It is strange, their shadowy forms are swathed in darkness, yet a radiant light burns within them like a scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. Alright, I think we're good. You will be my shadow, Cabela. Cabela's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Domin Lemedicus von Valentius, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One. For so it was ordained, and so his tarot forspoke. And welcome to the crew, Goth Mommy. The woman bows her head once more. I also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. He wishes you to know that the doors of the Undying One's temple are open to you. Are you suggesting the Lord Captain should go down into the depths of the flagship to search for this temple? With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. They are not a fitting place for his lordship. I do disagree with you, Abelard. I think my presence might actually make people a lot more loyal to our cause if they actually saw me from time to time. Forspoke? What do you mean? What tarot? The greatest, most sacred relic of the Bloodspun Web, the Emperor's Tarot. Only his chosen servants may earn the permission to rain blood upon the cards and perform a reading, to see portents of the future, shadows of the past, or tangles of the present. However, the secrets of his tarot are not for the ears of lay people to hear. I cannot tell you more. Not here, not now. Who is the Vizier? He is the first among us. The Vizier has spun the web of faith for 5-fold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood, my mentor and my teacher. Why is the Vizier not here to deliver the message himself? First Spinner is old. His abode is in the temple beneath the flagship's freight line, and he has not left the lower decks in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. Oh, poor dude. Where is your temple located? I am not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Iraine, the matriarch's spider. Hers was the thread that would become the Bloodspun Web. Her path began deep within the flagship, in the dark tunnels of the freight line, and that is where yours must begin as well. The journey will bring closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to understanding death. I do not see the point of these riddles. Your temple is a part of my flagship. What is to stop me from simply walking inside? Again, I don't want this to be a decision, but I'll risk it. You must become blood of the flagship before you can enter the sacred temple of the Undying One. I cannot guide your way, but I can walk by your side. I will walk in the footsteps of the matriarch's spider. Your journey will begin in the darkness of the deepest tunnels. The Vizier awaits you. The cultists retreat into the shadows as Cabela sheaths her ceremonial dagger. Your blade awaits direction, Domin Lemedicus. We will speak again when the time is right. So am I going on the mission? I was told that this doesn't screw up the timing effect, and that the dude at the prison's still going to be alive, but if I'm doing a whole nother mission, I am extremely nervous. Excited, but extremely nervous that I might have to reload and go do the prison planet first. If that's the case, I'll figure it out somehow. Move things around in editing. The Rogue Trader's ship is a veritable city. This ship has numerous compartments. Navigate these compartments using the map of the ship, which you can access from the main elevator on the bridge or from any compartment. Okay. So, let's take a quick look around. Who the hell are you? Why do you have a name? Sir? Letard Forius? A man of indeterminate age bows his head. His robes are spotless, and his rigid collar constricts his throat. The unsettling smell of medicine hangs in the air, and the man's pale eyes look bleached. Greetings, your lordship. Your Chirurgeon Majoris is at your service. Okay, so he's like the ship doctor? Forius examines your face and hands critically, then gives a satisfied nod. No scars. The consequence of your charge through fire have been successfully remedied. Very good. I will make a note of it in the journal. Were you the one who treated my burns? Treating the Lord Captain is a job for the best Medicae practitioner on board, which is me. Tell me about your responsibilities. My job is to save lives, heal wounded officers, develop vaccines for onboard epidemics, discover new methods of healing. However, I spend most watches listening to patients about their many qualms, managing the junior Medicae officers, and dividing the afflicted into those who matter and those who do not. A rather irritating addition to my duties as Chirurgeon Majoris. Not the most compassionate of healers, are you? Compassion has nothing to do with the healer's trade. I prefer conversing with diseases rather than their carriers. Patients are aggravating. What sort of new methods? There are many. I am ever in search of solutions to dangerous afflictions. My latest work involves studying a particularly lethal disease that devours the person's flesh and skin. It has already claimed 12 lives, but their deaths were not in vain. I have learned much about the enemy, and the vaccine will soon be ready for testing. I see. I hope I have satisfied your curiosity. How did you come to serve on my flagship? I was the master healer on a world that belongs to the Chorda dynasty. I had managed to cure someone who was considered doomed, not because of their illness, but because of a certain self-important priest had tried to cure them with a prayer and failed. After I put him to shame, he started spreading rumors that I owe my skill to the influence of the ruinous powers. I sought refuge under Lady Theodora, who expressed an appreciation for my talents and welcomed me and my family on her ship. Yeah, well, to be fair, she did sort of like that thing, but I'm holding out the hope that you just have Emperor-given talent and aren't blessed by Zeech. You are not a heretic, are you? You serve the Emperor faithfully. His colorless eyes flash indignantly. My expertise is the result of hard work and accumulated wisdom, not some paltry sorcery. I employ my craft to save his children. That should serve as better proof of my innocence than any show of piety. Well, I wasn't asking for piety, I was asking for reverence, and you at least delivered that. Are the customs of Chorda worlds truly so uncompromising and blind to reason? You teach a man to read, you raise a bright heretic, I believe was one of my favorite local sayings. As for demonstrating the superiority of knowledge over the advice of holy ecclesiarchs, well, that kind of defiance was sure to put my life at risk. Naturally, House Corda still has need of people like me, educated and capable of intellectual thought. However, anyone who is permitted to learn does so under strict supervision. I have heard Lady Incendia's ship has a dedicated compartment for sages and keepers of knowledge that more resembles a prison than a librarian. Faith can work miracles and cure those who are beyond treatment. This cannot be denied. And neither can one deny the fact that miracles are rare. The belief that prayer can relieve a person of illness enables false hopes. Those who prefer healing themselves with reverent words still end up on my table, so that I can perform an autopsy rather than a procedure. Yeah, it was rather careless of you to get involved in that case. I would not have become a chirurgeon if I was afraid of death. It is an unavoidable side effect of my profession. There's something else I wish to discuss. How is my crew's health? Are you interested in a general report on the ship, or as a whole, or hearing about your immediate subordinates, how your immediate subordinates are faring? Let's start with the general report. I am currently not aware of any epidemics or other large-scale threats to the lives of the crew, or anything more serious than normal, at least. Minor outbreaks are part of the ship's natural decline process. The Medicae are occupied with treating both industrial and combat injuries, as well as dealing with sporadically occurring ailments. How about my senior officers? The Master Helmsman's headaches caused by his faulty implants, the High Factotum's occasional indigestion, the Master-at-Arms combat wounds that can hardly be considered life-threatening, folds a finger dismissively for every officer he mentions, vapid cases that I am obligated to manage as Chirurgeon Majoris. At least the Infernus Master does not waste my time and simply comes to pick up ointments for his burns. Now on to other matters. What would you like to discuss? That will be all. Okay, so it seems there's still people showing up on the ship. Oh, there's Grandpa. I thought we lost him for a second. So, do you have anything new? Might as well check while I'm running around.
Greetings.
Nope, nothing new. How about you, Cassia?
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
I wonder, will you tell me about Cabela? Yes! Cabela is bathed in crimson as bright as fresh blood, and its sight is all the more striking in the embrace of impenetrable darkness. Yet there is no malice in these heavy shadows. They are impartial, morose, uncompromising, and ever consuming what weak flashes of other colors there may appear. Thank you.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you, Cassia. Let's see. Anyone else with a name? Anyone else just recently show up? I'm not seeing anybody. I'm also not seeing Cabela. I wonder if I have to go through that trial before she'll show up. Hello? Anyone with a name? I'm not seeing anybody. Yeah, no. Okay, well, let's head up here and check out a few things just real fast. Ah, she does have a level up. So, this is better than your current thing. and you can get more use out of it. Let's give you that. Is this cargo? Do we have a shotgun for the kind lady? Should be under ranged weaponry. Yes. Yes. Go back over here and give you a shotgun, and then put that crap back in cargo. One-handed. And this one's two-handed. I kind of like you having the bigger sword. 2 AP, 2 AP. Yeah, this one's better. Okie dokie. Well, we'll hold on to the other one for now. But before we move on, I do want to see what this is all about. And forgive me, I've never worked with this one before, so I'm going to have to read some of these. Be smart. Uses the fellowship bonus. A voidborn character can instead use the intelligent bonus if it is higher. Bloody mess. Scores. Okay, that one I am looking at very seriously. Non-damaging ability on an ally. Reroll any failed attack, dodge, parry, characteristic or skill chance. Okay. Character has more than 50% wounds, all chances of all creatures in a 3-cell radius. Okay. I don't want to go with Jinx, because that seems to screw over people who are close to her. There's a 20% chance to survive after suffering lethal damage. Okay, so far I'm looking at bloody mess and just a wound. Okay. Crimson Tide. A creature with the Blood Blessed or Blood-Stained effect gains +1 stack to this effect whenever raining blood is inflicted again. Okay, so far I haven't had too much experience with raining blood. I keep missing with it, so I'll hold that off for now. Death Cult Assassins allies deal plus more damage to enemies if both the ally and their target stand on blood-covered cells. It's pretty good. Death each time. Ooh, okay. So, I'm looking at this one now, too. That's really good. Okay. So, I'm thinking for this first one, we go with Bloody Mess. And then yeah, let's go with Agility just for now. Okay. Now what is this one? Blade Dancer immediately returns to the cell where they started their turn. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Okay, so be able to backflip out. So does this give me extra attacks, or does it undo the attacks? Oath of Vengeance costs 8 wounds to use. Not... Faces the side of their choice, immediately ends their turn. Until the end of the Blade Dancer's next turn, they can dodge area attacks without moving, are immune to all types of force movement, gain plus 20% parry against attacks on that side, can even parry ranged attacks made from that side. And then Blood Oath. The Blade Dancer's next attack inflicts bleeding 9 on all targets hit. These targets must pass a toughness readiness test with a 20% penalty or become immobilized. Ooh. Okay. So this one sounds really good. But this sounds really good. Like, really, really good. This one's really defensive. I like the idea of her being able to backflip out of combat, so I'm gonna go with that one for now. And then we want... Damn. Let's go with athletics. I know Abelard is kind of our athletics dude. Medicae. She would have as much Medicae as I do. Yeah, let's go with Medicae for now. And then let's go with agility again. Okay, this one's gonna take a second. And I have got to go run and deal with my puppies, so I will be right back. Sorry about this. Sorry about that. We are back. So, before I logged back on, I did take a minute to go through and read all of these, because it probably would have taken me the rest of the episode to sort of go through them and figure out what they do. But I think the best one I can go with, for right now at least, is Blade in his hand. Any Blade Dancer attacks made with the sword deal plus Aggie bonus % additional damage. This bonus damage is doubled if using a two-handed sword, which is what we're going to be doing, at least for the time being. So we're going with that one. Alright. Also, I'm looking at this one. I think I will go with Medicae, at least for now. It'll let her have the ability to actually use health kits and stuff like that. So I think I'll go with that one for now, because I don't know if I'm actually going to get this one or not. What are your abilities right now? You have a 40 weapon skill, 25 strength. Okay, so we're gonna need to get that up just a little bit. But I think... So, Abelard's got that covered, Argenta has that covered, but Argenta might not be with me on every mission. And she would be better at this. We'll go with demolition just for now. Just in case I actually end up deciding that I want to go with this later on. But for now, I think that's gonna have to do it for her level up. Everybody have... Let's see. So you've taken off your mask. If the wearer has 10 or more stacks of Blood Bless, they gain +1 resolve. +5 bonus to persuasion. Yeah, I like that one better. Every time the wearer deals damage, the target's weapon skill and ballistic skill. Okay. Yep. We're putting that on. And then we'll go with the armor. We are also going to make it so you are not wearing a helmet. Apply. Alright. And then you can't use this. Oh. Why am I not using this? Why did that get taken off? Excuse me? And then we still don't have any healing potions. Looks like everything kind of got rearranged. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good to move on. I don't want to waste too much time, but I am going to save it here because I'm still overly concerned. So I know talking to them didn't mess up the timeline. Do we jump into this right away? We'll do this. We'll do that after we save the prisoner. For now, there's another ship that I want to talk to. And I need to find out exactly how badly I've screwed myself over. So for now, we're going to go over here. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. As if listening to something. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Wisarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. So wait, have we even gone and talked to the Astropathic Choir yet? Or did something just pop up? Because I remember this one. I'm hoping that it's that the timed element is based on what places you choose to land on, and not all this faffing about in my ship. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, this is gonna be new with Jocasta here. The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice the loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of a superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. To be honest, Abelard, isn't that same mark on your profile? Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avril Event, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I am sorry, Lord Captain. I thought that drastic times called for drastic measures. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted, and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Vent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. So I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. This is the mission me and Abelard are going to butt heads on. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sourback, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Wiserion and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Vent reels off to the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she is finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard, then at you. There's an insurrection in the making aboard my ship, and no one has informed me. I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we are still battling rumors that the hero had survived the execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addressed the malcontents directly, he will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room. I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. Well, and this is the big sticking point. Normally, I would agree with you, Abelard, but I just recently took over this ship, so everybody's trying to figure out what the new leader is like. I could buy a lot of good faith from my crew if I go down there and show that my face, rather than be afraid of dirt and grime. If I may, your lordship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. How did all this start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who had been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics had been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. Where does Seneschal Wiserion come into all this? I shall explain. I beg you to hurry. Time is running out. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. Abelard, the episode, we're running out of time, dude. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that I have always handled internal problems myself. So, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. As long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valentius will find refuge on her ship. Again, good point. I would normally agree with you, but if I meet these people, it might end a lot of these problems. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Wiserion. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink. Now there's a strike on the lower decks in Depot 4, to be precise. 3 workers' clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection. But when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. Yeah, you know what? We're already over time. We might as well finish this conversation before we end the episode. Abelard, what is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. It is home to the clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now more besides giving succor to cultists and minions of the archenemy. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rot-gut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past, and we would have done so again if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It is located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors. Abelard, what do you have to say for all this? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. Let's see. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks to stop the assault unit and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. Yeah, let's go with 3 real quick. Master-at-Arms, the ship's enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. Sourback lowers her head and bows her head in Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpent smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Wiserian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mr. Sourback, I see you have decided to follow the lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sourback, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that the Master of Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers. And yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers who he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Wiserian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your lordship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master-at-Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. Lieutenant Vent, would you say Seneschal has singled you out from your peers in any way? Lord Captain, I swear that Seneschal Wiserian has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, nor facilitated my promotions, although he is the man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me extensive guidance in my service, for which I am grateful to him. And while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure that they continue to strive. To prepare new generations for the dynasty's servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it. That is my duty as Seneschal. The ship has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards, whom I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point. Yep, and I also agree that you can't physically be there for every single blasted soul on this ship. Anything else, Abelard? Mistress Sourback, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior, or one where I would overrule their order, or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone here were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard have always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. Both of you make wonderful points. That you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officer's deck handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition and audacity, makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to their commander and no one else. That is the sole foundation of order. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only to blame myself, I suppose. I am certain the Seneschal was acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. Throne preserve you, Lord Captain. I thank you for your support. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Oh yeah, we got words, buddy. Lord Captain, I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which then led to your and the Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to depot for myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident. Alright, so can I have all of these? I can have all of these people with me? Did they add one with the DLC? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm wrong. Okay. It always let you do 6. It's just been a really long time since I've played. But quickly. Okay. Alright, sorry about the long episode, everyone, but I didn't want to stop halfway through that conversation. So, unfortunately, it's past that time of the hour, so we are going to have to call it here for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming along with me. I hope you all have had a wonderful day, and until I see you next time, have fun, and stay safe out there.